So for this week, there's only the gym work. I did sprint, but it was only one day, so I decided to just add that on to next week's stuff instead of just putting one day, trying to make one day worth of training an entire video, or maybe adding it to the gym. I wanted to keep it separate, but I'm still going to talk about my sprints because this week there's only going to be this gym stuff. So I decided first off to make everything that I do in the gym just transparently out there pretty much. There's some stuff that I didn't record because there's no point in me recording it, like the bike. But in this gym, you do see me doing everything, including turning on and off the camera every single time. So you can actually see everything that I'm doing. So you can kind of treat this as you literally being there in my training, sort of like my live streams, but not as in depth in my live streams. I'm not going to respond to you because I can't respond to you unless you're in the live stream. But let's start off with the competition so far. We've done many races. If we talk individual races themselves, done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 runs until this point, in the month of January. We did 719, 71, 718, 699, 721, 719, 2284, 729, and 713. I believe that's all in order. So it was going great, and then it wasn't. My hamstring started to play up, which is really, really annoying because in December we did 714, 704, 712, 71, and things were going great. I wasn't really happy with the 7-1s and 7-1-2s, but if I'd known what was going to happen, I would be very happy with those times. And then I opened in January, sort of, with 719 and 71, a bit slower, about the same as well, not so great. And then a few days later I did my 699, then 718, which was great because I did it with a hamstring strain. So I was like, if I can do this with a hamstring strain, imagine what I can do when I don't have a hamstring strain. But the strain ended up lasting for longer than I anticipated it lasting, and we ended up getting some really fast sort of and slow times randomly, which was really annoying. We opened for the 200 in January, PBing indoors from the 2298 we did in pretty much December to 2284, removing more than a tenth of a second with a strained hamstring still going on. From what I saw, the training was going very well, but I decided to take steps to change my training. So a lot of the training that I was doing was quad dominant, and it needs to be more hamstring focused. And moving forwards, you will be seeing in these videos that you are seeing more hamstring stuff and less quad stuff, to the point where I actually kind of just removed a lot of the quad stuff. So if I'm getting any quad training, it's actually because I'm holding a weight with my legs straight. Otherwise, it's pretty much all just hamstring work because I really need to fix up my hamstrings so they're not an issue. But other than that, the training has really been going well. If you do deduct the hamstring strain, even with all the mishaps that I've been having, I still believe the training's been going well. What I'm really upset with is the competitions. Some of the competitions, I could blame it on external factors, but if I'm being honest, a lot of it is just me having poor start, poor reaction time. Maybe I'm fatigued from the gym, because some of these races, I am literally going through the gym sessions, like coming up especially. Not to give too much of a spoiler, but you are going to see my slowest times in the next few races. And I didn't realize this because I like to blame myself when I make mistakes, but a lot of these slow runs, I am literally going in the gym either the same day or the day before or the day after, and then I'm racing again a few days later while still going into the gym. So there's a lot of volume and stress that I'm putting myself under, whether that's actually through sprint training, competing, or just the gym itself. So time to relax, recover, and actually get myself ready to run at my peak is rare, and I believe it should really be highlighted in my training more, which is something you're going to be seeing more in the future. But in the present day, I'm just blitzing and hoping for the best. But right now, the main focus is making sure that my times can be as low as possible. In the first training block in the gym, I put a lot of focus behind getting really strong and then just doing my absolute best on the track. And I think that's good and bad, because it's good because I'm a force deficient sprinter, so getting stronger will literally get my times faster, guaranteed. But it's bad because doing that puts a lot of stress on my central nervous system, which means my times can't go as fast as I wanted them to. For example, when I ran my 7:04 at Luca, I knew I could have gone faster than 7:04 if I wasn't fatigued, because I knew my central nervous system was heavily fatigued. Gym training was intense. It was to the point where on the week of Luca, I skipped pretty much every gym session other than I think Monday. And I still competed on Luca, still feeling fatigued with a bit of back pain as well. Not that the back pain probably affected me, but you get the point. So that 699 could have popped out much earlier without me having a hamstring strain, because I personally feel like I brute forced it with the training that I was doing between my university break, where I just wear the weighted vest and then I do some short sprints to work on my force efficiency. That probably put a lot of strain in my hamstring, more than I realized it would at the time. I didn't think it would have been an issue, but it ended up being an issue. So a lot of these different factors end up accumulating to make my times either fast or slow, whether those are external or internal factors. And I want to make sure that for SEAAs, BUCS, and potentially CALTEs, I'm not sure, that's a bit too far ahead, and that's probably the only competition I actually haven't paid for, but that I'm ready to run at my fastest, similar to how I was at Luca. I don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want to run really slow times. I don't want to mess up in a way that could make me leave the meet feeling upset and annoyed with myself, knowing I could have done better, whether that was just me saying, okay, for this week, I'm competing. I am not going to be doing any training, whether that's sprint training or gym training or whatever. Or if it's me being like, okay, I need to stretch more before I compete, use my electrodes to get my legs ready. It could have been anything. Maybe work on my technique. I want to make sure that whenever I go to these 3 specific meets, I am at my best. Whether that's for me trying to challenge British champs, or trying to get a gold medal at BUCS, or get a gold medal at CALTEs. Whatever I want to go out there and do, I want to make sure that I go out there and I run the best times that I possibly can, because I'm going to give the best I possibly can on the day. And I don't want anything like my hamstring, or maybe my knee, my ankle, me being fatigued from the gym a few days prior, or anything like that to be the reason why I end up going out there and then I run like a 7:7, for example. That is not fast, and that is nothing near my capabilities, and that would actually really be scary for me, because that would be the slowest time on my power of 10, in probably gonna be the fastest year on my power of 10, and I'm running 699. So that shouldn't be happening. If you convert the 699, I should be running around 10.8. So if I can't even run something good there when I'm supposed to be peaking or close to peaking, then what am I going to do when I get to outdoors and I have even more competitions and distances are even longer? So I need to use this indoor period to tweak everything so it's perfect, so I get the competitions correct. I know when to compete, how hard to compete, and how to train around all of that, and how to stay injury free whilst doing all of that, because I get injured every indoors. I've gotten injured for 3 consecutive years now. Usually it was the knee. This time, for the first time ever, it wasn't the knee, it was my hamstring. So, and technically you can look at that as the injury's getting worse. I like indoors getting injured, not because I want to be injured, but because it's so unimportant. Getting injured doesn't really affect anything. I could go to BUCS, I could go to British champs, I could go to SEAAs, I could go to Kent counties, I could come dead last, I could not get through the heats, I could come 8th. Whether that's the 60 or the 200, and it wouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, no one cares about indoors. Indoors isn't going to get me a qualification to go to British champs outdoors. Indoors isn't going to get me a qualification to go to World Championships or any big meet that's important. It's not going to get me a qualification to go to England Athletics Nationals, where for under 23, I only have to run 11 flat. And I'm currently running 11.19 into heavy winds, which converts to 11.1, sorry. So if that's the case, and nothing I'm doing indoors is really going to help me, why are we doing indoors? It's to practice what you're going to do for outdoors, tweak some things so that the first 60 set up well, so you can make the strong 40, final 40 be the best it could possibly be. And that's the main focus for this entire indoors. And I want to make sure that we really, really move well, so that when I come to outdoors, nothing that we had happening indoors happens. We just see the fastest times. We see the 704s, the 699s, some faster PBs. I don't know what I have in store for you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know if I'm going to be healed up by the time I get to BUCS or SEAAs or Kent County. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I'm going to run the fastest I possibly can and nothing's going to stop me.